In this video, I will go through creating the eyes as well as the stripes. What we currently have are both wings and our body on a wing and body layer. To create the eyes, I'm going to create circles, ellipses that have no fill and that have black strokes. Zooming in on one of the eyes and selecting our eye layer, I will find the approximate center of this eye, hold Alt and Shift to force myself to draw perfect circles. I'll next draw another circle at the center point of this darker brown eye, as well as this white portion of the eye. Selecting the white inner eye with the black arrow, hitting I for the eyedropper, I will change this to that white color. Switching back to my black arrow, I will select the next circle, hitting I for the eyedropper, I will select the dark brown color, and then selecting the large yellow circle, I will hit I for the eyedropper and select the yellow color. If your edges are not lined up perfectly, you can hit escape to exit isolation mode. We'll just drag that in, select the white one, and bring that in so that all of our borders are matched up a bit more evenly. We'll follow the same process for the other eyes. I will not do those. I will leave that to you all to create. I'm going to hide and lock my eye layer. And next we will create the stripes. In order to create the stripes, we will need to show and unlock the body. We will select the outer body that we created, Control C to copy it, Control F to paste a copy of it directly on top. We now have two copies of our outer body. With one of them selected, I will drag this little colored bead to the stripe layer. We have now moved our body copy to our stripe layer. I will hide and lock our body layer, and notice that now on our stripe layer we have a copy of our outer body. I will select it. I'll give it a black stroke and no fill so we can see inside our body. The next step will be defining each of our character's stripes using either straight lines or arcs. On our stripe layer, you must ensure that your cursor is locked onto the path. A little graphic should appear that says path. You'll click and hold, bring it to the end of the stripe. You may hit F to flip the direction of your arc. Again, you must lock on to the path and bring it to the end of the stripe. Bring it onto the path, end of the stripe. Make sure you lock onto the path and bring it to the other anchor point. Lock onto the path to the end of the stripe, path. If you do not lock your arcs onto your paths, you will have to make all of these adjustments later, and it's much more difficult. So please, while you are making these stripes, please ensure that you are locking your arcs every time onto the path of the outer body. Occasionally I'm hitting F to flip the orientation of the arc that I'm creating. I believe after this is done, this will be my last set of stripes to make. I'm going to delete that one and zoom in so I can ensure that I am locking onto the path appropriately. That's good. with my white arrow, I will select these arcs, just make some changes so that they're shaped a little bit more appropriately. Because a few were not. Alright, each stripe has been defined, and we have the outside border, which every arc has been locked onto. At this point, I will select that outside border with my black arrow. Next, I will hit C on the keyboard. That will activate the scissor tool. I usually like to touch one arc just to see where its path is and click at the intersection. Find the next path, click at the intersection. You must keep your line that you are trimming with the scissors selected. So I suggest working in a counterclockwise orientation as you cut the border, and use the arc's intersection to cut these borders all the way around. I've misclicked, so I will find that intersection once again, finding the intersections all the way around our path. Left clicking the mouse at each intersection that we would like cut. It looks to me like this arc was not attached to the path, so I will need to reconnect that. I will need to reselect the line which I'm trying to trim with my black arrow, reselect my scissors, and now I can cut accurately at that intersection. All intersections have been cut. At this point, with my black arrow, I will select this unnecessary line at the bottom and delete it. I will continue to delete all of the little inner bits because we do not need those. Then I will select these three lines with the black arrow. With these three lines selected with the black arrow, I will hit Control J to join them. I'll select the next three, Control J to join them. I'll select the next three, Control J, Control J. I'm going to do this to each of the three lines that I used to define and create my stripes. Oops. Did not want to do that. Back to my black arrow. That's correct. Control J to join. And last, Control J to join. Once all stripes have been joined, I will select all of them. With my black arrow, I'll hit I for my eyedropper, and I will color them all using the color of those stripes in our photo. Now when I turn on my body, the stripes, the edge of the stripe is coincident with the exterior body because we created this line of the stripe from a trimmed portion of the body. The body layer is correct, the stripes are correct, the eye and the wings have been put in place.